Great peace. I wanted to talk about how um, the stock market affects our inheritance tax on these large corporations. My mother grew up in a house on the south side of Chicago that were passed down to us for like 1 year. The city bought the property. It was a nice property. The city bought the property and they ended up building a school on it. It was on 67th and Marquette Road. And we were living over there. And we had everything for us because my grandfather bought the house when she was young. So it was like a house from the 60s, but it was made from brick. So like it didn't have any damage to it or anything. It was just perfect. So like I just want to read up on this right here and just show how when we have something in our inheritance, it never goes away. In fact, we have to wait for like, now we do. We have to wait for like lawyers to surprise us and say things like, have you been injured in an accident or you have a claim, something like that. But in this sense, it'll be something like where you cheated out of a portfolio or something like that. Or did a large corporation buy your home and force you to become an asylum seeker or something like that. But here it is. It says in gross. In a large quantity or sum without division or particulars by wholesale, at large, not annexed to or dependent upon another thing. Common in gross is such as is either appendant or apparent to land, but is annexed to a man's person. So all of these words right here are synonymous with inheritance and tax. And this, I think, is a first or third edition, one of them. Let me see. This is from 1891, first edition. So let's read up on another one. This is 10 Coke 101. And things that are favorable to the spirit, though injurious to property, an extension of the statute should sometimes be made. So that's Latin. And we have a more simpler term that tribes use, which is an extension of Latin. Infinitum. Infinitely, indefinitely, imports indefinite, succession, or continuous. So say if someone were to come by and say, well, we're going to survey this land. We're going to give you all 2 years to move, and we're going to start construction on it afterwards. So say if they bought the land you were on, okay, and they gave you a sale price on it. They gave you a closing price. Well, you could come back with the lawyer and say, well, what about my kids? They will need an inheritance from this property as well. And you should be able to do that. Okay. It just amazes me that when they bought the property, nothing else was done after that. Like, they took the money didn't go anywhere, it didn't help much. And we was kind of left stuck in the glue. Like, we went to bad public schools where fights were happening every day. We left Chicago without good transportation. Like, we didn't have anything. So even if that's possible, like, I just want to let people know, like, when you come across videos about inheritance tax, you should always have a claim, especially when it's talking about property for sale. You should always have an inheritance tax clause in there, because your kids will have to benefit from that when you're no longer able to provide for them. Okay, so like Social Security is not a good supplemental tax, because again, it's too many provisions on it. You have to see people every semester, every year or so, to make sure that you still can make sure you're still eligible for it. And plus, like, it's a lot of immigrants starting to come over here and get that, so like it won't be anything special in the Social Security department. Like, you have to make another department, or you have to go to another department to get benefits. And like right now, like most black people in lower income communities, like they don't know anything about this right here, TRAM 319, Coke 1. They don't know anything about this. They just know about supplemental security. So if they get laid off a job, the first thing they do is apply for Social Security. All right, so they can get like $700 a month. So I just want to be very quick with that. Whenever you're in 1891 first edition black laws, like, make sure you look up inheritance tax, because it's very crucial that we know these things, man, because like there's so many people getting cheated out of contracts who can't read. They don't have the backing support by nonprofit organizations, and they just go get lowball by these large corporations. So like, yeah, just make sure you know what this stuff means. And I'll just end off on that.